I don't know why no one's talking about this, but thanks to one of you who had a great question, honestly it's a very important question, we're going to get into it today. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Jeep. It's not a very exciting location today. I'm just in the Publix parking lot, though I did just check the Two Foolish Mortals mailbox and I got something exciting. I can't wait to share it with you, but we're going to have to save that for another day. Anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about this comment/question that I received recently, specifically about the scheduled maintenance on the Disney Skyliner. Now, I'm sure some of you are already like, hold on a second. I haven't heard anything about that yet. That's exactly why we're talking today. So this question basically said, hey, I know that the Skyliner goes down for maintenance regularly, but I haven't seen any information about it. Can you fill me in? Do you know anything? And as soon as I got this question, as soon as I read it, I was like, oh my God, I haven't heard anything about this. Maybe it just slipped past me. I don't know. I'm going to take a second to dig into it. And that's just what I did. And I have to say, I'm a little surprised at what I found. So here at the Walt Disney World Resort, one of the many free modes of transportation available to guests is the Disney Skyliner. This is a very specific mode of transportation that only runs from certain resorts to certain theme parks. So you can take that Skyliner to get to Hollywood Studios and Epcot, and it runs to those two theme parks via stations at Caribbean Beach, Disney's Riviera Resort, Art of Animation, and Pop Century. Of course, since there is an Epcot station that's right outside the International Gateway, it's easy to access from the Boardwalk, Beach Club, Yacht Club, and I suppose you could say Swan and Dolphin as well. So this might be something that you want to take into consideration if you happen to be staying at one of those resorts too, especially if you like to do that whole resort hopping thing where you go to some of the Skyliner resorts to enjoy food and just wander around. Anyway, this is a great mode of transportation for a long list of reasons, though I have often said that I have a love-hate relationship with it. Those are just my personal opinions, though. We'll save that for another day, don't worry. I'm sure it'll come up eventually, because we do have to make our way back out to the Riviera. Very much looking forward to that, but the Skyliner is a fan favorite mode of transportation at the Walt Disney World Resort, not only because it's kind of a ride in and of itself, but it's really convenient. It's continuously moving, it's easy to board and deboard, especially if you have a mobility issue, maybe you're in a wheelchair or an ECV. There are special processes for that. It makes it a lot easier than a bus, for example. And those are just some of the reasons that people really love staying at the Skyliner resorts. It's a huge perk of staying at the Skyliner resorts. But there's a catch. Sometimes the Skyliner goes down, sometimes for weather, that's unpredictable, but sometimes for regularly scheduled maintenance. And that's really what our conversation is about today. So generally speaking, the Skyliner goes down for regularly scheduled maintenance at the beginning of the year. And in the past, we've gotten announcements ahead of time of when exactly this is going to be. I think last year the announcement was made around October 25th. That is, of course, if what I read was correct. But this year, it's been quiet. We haven't heard anything, or at least I haven't, and neither have some of you. So going back to the whole reason we're chatting today, when I first saw this comment, I was like, surely I missed something. So let me do a little bit of digging. Let me see what I can find. I started off with some basic Google searches, couldn't find anything official from Disney. The only thing I could find, I think, was from Plan Disney, which is this Q&A style blog that Disney puts out. It's not necessarily what I would call official information, but it's the only place I've seen anything about this to date. So I checked into that and they said they haven't heard anything yet. Now, since this was the only resource that I was able to find, I was like, all right, we need to roll our sleeves up and do a little bit more digging. So I decided to go the route of looking into the web pages for each individual Skyliner resort. And when I did that, I found that there was no information there either, which there should be. Generally speaking, when there's maintenance coming up or something like this, when the Skyliner is going to be down, there's this little thing at the top of the web page that says, hey, just so you know, if you're going to be booking from this time to this time, the Skyliner will be down. That's not there right now. So this leaves us with a question. What's going to happen come January 2025? Honestly, at this time, we just don't know. Now, I will say that Disney hasn't been really great about being on top of announcements like this, at least not recently. So personally, I feel like just because we haven't heard anything from them yet doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And frankly, I would count on it happening at some time during that January, February timeframe. How long will it be? Who knows? Generally, it's a couple weeks for one of the lines. I can't remember off the top of my head which line is closed the longest, but will it be different this year? Again, I don't know. So this leaves us with the final question of what should you do? For me, it's hard to want to spend the money on a Skyliner resort specifically because it's going to have Skyliner access if it's a toss-up of whether or not there's going to be Skyliner access during that time frame. But of course, everyone has different priorities. Everyone has wants and needs that don't necessarily align with mine. So, you know, not having access to the Skyliner might not be a big deal for you. And honestly, it isn't that big a deal. You will have access to the Disney bus transportation if the Skyliner happens to be down. So it's not like you're not going to be able to get back and forth. You just won't be able to get back and forth in the same way. But yeah, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to kind of factor into what your vacation looks like if you're going to be traveling during that time frame. But if you haven't had this on your mind and you are thinking about traveling during that time frame, it's about time to start thinking about it, because again, just because we didn't get an announcement from Disney yet doesn't mean we won't get one last second. So, you know, I just want you to be ready. I want you to be ready for anything. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this is something that's on your mind. Let me know how important the Skyliner is to you when booking your Disney vacation. And let me know if not having this information is going to change your opinion any. Put it all in a comment down below. But all right, it's time to wrap this up. I gotta go grab some groceries and then make my way home. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.